Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. 844-551-8255. The biggest threat to the republic, not the democracy, the democratic republic that is America, just left the Oval Office. The second biggest threat looms in the very policies represented by that former president in the form of leftism that remains in this country. That is the biggest threat to America, and it is the biggest threat to the world. And people can say, Kevin, that's over the top, whatever. That sums it up. You're talking about a group that truly wants selective anarchy. They won't tell you this. The elitists want to fool the minions into believing that they are fighting for their rights. I defy you to tell me that Nancy Pelosi really cares about Mexicans coming into the United States. Pick any one of those politicians. Tell me whatever their issue is, and I will tell you, unless that issue involves them personally, like I want more money to go to cancer research. If a politician tells you that, you can bet your sweet behind they got cancer. Or it's impacted somebody in their family. It's like this comedian, Patrice O'Neill. You know what? Just play Patrice's clip because it'll make more sense in humor than I can even explain it.
I'm getting tired of famous people making me give money to the disease that they got. Whatever, right? And I don't mind that, but it's selfish. But be honest with your selfishness. What I'm saying is, okay, I'm diabetic. I have diabetes, but I'm going to try to be honest with you. If I didn't have diabetes, that wouldn't be the disease of my choice. Do you understand what I'm saying? So since I have diabetes, I want there to be a cure because I got it. Now, Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's disease. And that's terrible. But I just want him to be honest with his problem. Because he's on TV every 5 minutes talking about how terrible the disease Parkinson's disease is. But I just want him to be honest with his selfishness. I want to ask him a question. I'm going to be like, hey, Mike, listen. I know you got Parkinson's disease, but what about cancer and AIDS? Aren't those important too? And I just want to see him go, yeah, they're important. But you know what? I ain't got that. So I'm not going to give money to something I don't have. If somebody famous don't have your disease, you are dead. You are finished.
Welcome back, everybody. Patrice O'Neill, rest his soul. I love comedians, especially guys like Patrice O'Neill. And that's why I write my comedy around reality. You know, Patrice O'Neill's keeping it real. What he said is exactly true. And I'm telling you, folks, don't think of this in terms of celebrity disease. Think of this, the celebrity disease is politics. The politicians have the disease of politics, and that disease is infected with leftism. The body politic of America is infected with leftism, progressivism, whatever you want to call it. And the only objective, sole objective, look, don't get all anecdotal on me. Oh, well, Kevin, I know a politician and he really is concerned about the environment. It's whatever. I'm telling you, these guys will use any ruse to stay into power because the allure of power, the control of people, and the acquisition of wealth are the reasons that you do this. And that's why the framers said, look, leave your job and go to D.C. Don't get a check. You want to know why? Because if you ain't getting a check, you want to go home. But you know what we've done? We've fattened up a lot of frogs for a lot of snakes. And now politicians look at it as, you know what? The gravy train is in D.C. They love it. I call it Hollywood. I've heard of it. I use it all the time, but I call it Hollywood for ugly people. That's what it is. This is as good as it gets for these guys. Most of these guys and I've said this, guys and gals, were the ones who nobody really cared that much about in school. They were either the very pretentious little, sort of the Reese Witherspoon that got into Harvard type, You know that show, whatever that show was, where she got into Harvard, but she's real prissy and, or they were the nerd on the chess club, or, some crazy little obscure group in high school that people made fun of. Those are your politicians. The head of the football team, man, he was like, I got options. He could go work with his hands. He was a strong guy. He was, pretty bright. Football players are not dumb. Sports people are not dumb. He had options. These other people were like, I'm intellectual, but I don't know if I want to be a scientist, but I tell you what, I'll do politics. I get it. So we have these folks that now believe that, they matter. They matter more than you. They no longer represent you. And they can do whatever they want. Barack Obama knows. I mean, can you imagine him meeting with the White House attorney saying, now explain to me FISA. Explain to me exactly how this FISA thing worked and the wiretapping and, surveillance of people. Because he inherited that program from George Bush. Go look at the movie 0 Day. They got that program finished that spied on everybody in the world on election day of 2008, when the official president switched over. It was January of 2009 that the program ended, which cracks me up, because what they were essentially saying is, when the new president is elected, we have to start over. But we don't want to have our fingerprints on it that it's America. But it happens that it's on inauguration day. So we don't know who wrote the program, that spies on everybody in the world. And by the way, this is what Snowden exposed. He realized, he thought Barack Obama was going to end it. Barack Obama put it on steroids. So Barack Obama sitting with the White House attorney and a group of other confidants. He's saying, now explain, what you're trying to tell me is I can issue a FISA warrant, put somebody's name in the FISA thing, and nobody knows, because nobody can tell it, because if they tell it, they go to jail. So it's a system that allows for no checks and balances. And Barack Obama had Susan Rice issue FISA warrants on people, on Manafort, in advance, knowing nothing on this man. There was an FBI investigation open on Manafort. Yeah. Okay, if you want to open an investigation and look into his tax, what he's doing with his business, that's one thing. How does that translate into, I'm going to open this thing up and expand it to Donald Trump and his holdings in Russia? Which, by the way, anybody with common sense knows there's nothing there. Because if there was something there, they would have found it. They've had enough time to look into Russia, they would have found it. But you know what? They're completely avoiding it at this point. They're running in circles. They've gone back to 2006 to look at Manafort's records. Let's play that clip.
Well, Anderson, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigators are reaching to 2006 in a probe that centers on tax and financial crimes of Paul Manafort. It's one indication of the pressure that Mueller's team is placing on the former Trump campaign chairman, and the broad time frame shows that Mueller's team is going well beyond Russian meddling during the campaign as part of the investigation of the Trump campaign associates. As we reported yesterday, Manafort has been the subject of an investigation, of an FBI investigation for years, including wiretaps, and he has emerged as a focal point for Mueller.
Let's stop it there. So he's a focal point for Mueller. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. He is a focal point for Mueller because Mueller has nothing else. 2006, a supposed investigation looking into Manafort, and how that translates into something involving Donald Trump is beyond me. And the reason is it doesn't. The left need a skin on the wall. And Manafort is it. They've looked at everybody. They've looked at Kushner. They've looked at Junior. They've created people and had to retract stories of, it was Corey so-and-so, or it was Stephen this, and had to go, we're sorry. It was misinformation, wrong, completely erroneous stuff. Then they actually said Donald Trump actually contacted Russia to potentially build a building in Moscow. Really? A builder? Wanting to build a building in Moscow? I'm shocked. Certainly there's a conspiracy there. This is how crazy things have gotten on the left, folks. So Manafort, and we're going to talk about this. I'm going to thread it throughout the show, because that keeps you guessing as to when I'm going to talk about it. But we're going to come back to this because Manafort's fighting back in clever ways. I'm not going to be a spoiler on this, but I want to go back to the idea that Trump is the threat, but Barack Obama exposes people. They call it unmasking them, using his minions to do it. He hides behind it. Then he runs off to Billionaire Island and pretends he's a good guy. The left they know that he's not. And so they know this is also about Hillary Clinton and others.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.